me. Okay, I don't know. I have had an obsession this past month that I don't know, I just wanted to come on here and talk about. Um, so, Cole Sprouse. I want to start by saying I don't have any, it's not about dirt on him, it's not about, Jughead or Zach and Cody or anything. It's about the public persona of Cole Sprouse, which I find really awesome and has like lit a spark in me this past month, based on stuff he says and stuff he does, and travels around the world, the documentation of it. It's been really interesting to look back at him before he was on Riverdale, and the things that he was doing as an archaeologist. I don't mean to put the quotes, but like he was obviously in college, so he was an archaeologist, but not running a site somewhere. So I don't know. I've looked back at the old Instagram stuff and the old Twitter stuff, and I found somebody's running. He had done a Twitter, not a Twitter, a Tumblr thing way back when, and he had deleted it, but somebody had saved everything from it, so they actually have it up like he had it up. So it's really fascinating to look back at that stuff, at his words, listen to his voice clips from back then. And he's actually, his public persona, I don't want to ever say he is, because I don't know him. I don't know Cole Sprouse. You don't know Cole Sprouse. We don't know him. He is only available to us as his public persona, the mask that he wears when he goes outside and interacts with his fans, when he takes a picture and puts it on Instagram and says something funny, or whatever he shows us, whatever he writes, whatever he says, it's all part of, obviously not his actual self, but the person that he has to appear to be in public, the protection, the mask he wears to be able to be a celebrity and walk through the world, whatever celebrity is, that thing, that enigma out in the universe that is celebrity. Obviously they all have to protect themselves in a way, and they're all obviously playing characters in TV shows and movies, and you also don't probably as an actor want to destroy the image of your character by being something completely opposite that in public. So if you're playing the airhead bimbo in your next film, you probably don't want to go around acting scholarly and swearing and smoking and whatever. If you're like the innocent airhead bimbo, you probably don't want to wear the persona of something opposite that. If you're this deep, sweet, loving machismo man, you probably don't want to act like a vapid dude, surfer guy. I don't know. Whatever you are supposed to be in your film or your show, you probably don't want to show anything other than that to a degree when you're out in public, because you want the audience to look at the show or movie and see that character and not see something else that you've done in public that would add a different interpretation of that character than you meant. So it's like an act on and off screen, which I'm sure is really frustrating. But anyway, I don't know him. I don't know anything about him in real life. All I know is the public persona of Cole Sprouse. So that's what I've been obsessed with this past month, because I've been looking into his old stuff, and for instance, the old Tumblr page that he had created and deleted, he has stuff about like historical moments in history, and jumping from only those moments to those moments, and he posted pictures with all of this stuff that very well personifies the ideas that he's trying to state. Fragile nature of man, I have it all just written down, how the brain is really the only real astounding biological adaptation, and that's really an amazingly astute observation that we haven't really, I mean, we're still I can't go out in the snow for 6 hours without a coat and hope to survive. We're not adapted for extreme heat or extreme cold without the things that we've used our brain to help us obtain to protect ourselves. So there's that idea, and he had posted, I believe it was an article with it. It might have been a picture, but it was about cybergenics and how we're trying to, over time, enhance the human body with robotics and such to become a new level of human being. So that was really interesting. Artifacts, he obviously went on archaeological digs. I'm saying obviously, I don't know if a lot of people have looked into him as a person, and what he's done in his life besides The Sweet Life, which I never saw, and Riverdale, which I enjoy as a show. I do enjoy it. That's what got me to look into the cast and start to see him in interviews, and I really enjoyed that. But before that, after Zach and Cody, he went and studied at NYU, I believe, and he was doing an archaeology program, and he would go on digs and he would show pictures of like old relic with graffiti on them and such, and talk about how if you take a piece that you find somewhere and you take it away from that place, that it loses its historical value because they don't know where it was found exactly and what was surrounding it, which helps tell them like the dirt. So I went to school for English, and also I minored in classics, and I did a lot of study in history and the classical, not just mythology, but the world and archaeology to a degree. Not really, but you know, you have to look into how these people find these beautiful sculptures and bowls and shoes they found. So I learned a lot about how the archaeologists actually dig into stuff and what they were uncovering back when I was in school. So I had a professor that was really strongly against, like, don't go on eBay and just buy some pretty little thing because you're told it's from classical Greece or whatever. Don't do that because it's usually taken from the site. It's not it's a bad thing to do. I stutter. I don't speak very well. I'm sorry, but it's naughty. You're not getting what you should get out of it, which is the historical value of it, where it comes from, the context surrounding that object. Who made it? When did they make it? Why did they make it? What other things did they make surrounding that? That's what's important. That's what teaches us about history, not just this little coin or this little bowl or this little figure. They are awesome on their own, but it's more important to know about the whole thing. So he talks about that, and he talks also about, like, the people that do put graffiti on these ancient sites. What do they want? What are they trying to get out of this? Is it more just trying to put their own imprint on history in their own way, which is an interesting thing. I've never thought about it that way. I just have always gone, how dare you? That's awful. But, you know, I can understand wanting to leave some of yourself behind. I'm not saying that's a good thing to do. It is still very, very awful, but I have never looked at it from the point of view of somebody going up to it and saying, I would like part of me to live on. So that was just, it was really cool to read that. He posted this picture of this spider and this flower, and he was talking about beauty and ugliness and the ugliness that surrounds beauty, but how, like, the spider, it kind of creeps us out and we want it to go away, but at the same time that spider protects the flower, and so the ugliness protecting that beauty, and the necessity of that duality. Let's see, how damaged things are often beautiful. There's so much good versus evil and taking sides, and if you take a side, or can you see the other side? And there was so much really cool stuff that he had put on that Tumblr page, which is deleted, but like I said, somebody else has taken all of that stuff and reposted it online on Tumblr, I believe. I don't know. I just typed it in Cole Sprouse's Tumblr thing. And so I've sat with that and read all of those things, and some of it's funny, like him, there's depths, and there's hilarity, and there's some deep thought. Like he shows the world, his public face is always very funny, but also thought-provoking and historical. You know, he'll put up a book, and I'm still mad because he posted a book a few nights ago on his Instagram story, and it said something about surely the sun has a penis. Surely it was his thing, surely. But it was really interesting, and I wanted to know what book it was from, and he didn't post the book, and I'm just so upset because I don't feel like I'm ever gonna know what that book was. So, yeah, I've been sparked by it. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I have 2 girls. I have my husband. We moved to Maine about 2 years ago from Florida, and I basically just stay at home. I read a lot of books. I watch TV shows. During the day with my kids, it's usually stuff like Dora the Explorer and Super Y. So my life is very, you know, I read a lot of really cool stuff. I was a teaching assistant at the University of South Florida, so I had gotten a lot of books from that situation. So I have a lot of stuff to hold me over about philosophy and art and the ancient world. So I do read that stuff, but I don't feel like I have any modern dialogue between me and other people. My Facebook page is very small. I only keep the people on there that are really close friends or really close family because I share a lot about my girls. I just started using Twitter for the first time in 6 years because Cole Sprouse is on there, and he writes a lot of funny stuff. So I went on there to kind of see what he was saying and to be, you know, kind of enlightened by him and his public persona. And then Instagram, I just started just because he does post stuff. So he's like, when I say he's been a spark, he's actually gotten me to invest in the world a little bit more than I have been in the past. And it's because it's really hard. I took myself purposefully out of the world, because I don't like small talk. I'm not very good with that mask that even us in the land of obscurity must wear. I don't do well with public situations. I'm better just staying in the house with my kids, with my books, with my writing and reading and painting and hanging out with my dog and spending nights just sitting with my husband and watching nice movies and talking. That is my world. That is basically all that I have. So I'm not into a lot of celebrities. I don't know a lot about a lot of people, and a lot of I don't trust a lot of the things that people say. Most of it doesn't intellectually stimulate me. So I very much backed away from the world. But in the past month, I watched Riverdale. I liked it. I thought it was really cool. I liked the storyline. I liked the mystery of it. So I looked into these little interview things that the cast does sometimes, and I thought they were really funny. And I thought that the way that Cole Sprouse spoke was really interesting. And so I started looking into him, and then I started actually finding myself tuned in to what he was saying and how he was saying it, and what he was trying to put out into the world to get us all to think as a group, as a family of humans. And so I felt intellectually stimulated by the things that he puts out into the world.